3 nuclear reactors shut down because the rivers cooling them were too warm. Germany has passed 5,000 dead. France is still counting. Scientists have a warning. There are limits to adaptation, and Europe may already be reaching them. The dead from this heatwave are not yet buried. The next one is already forming. Europe is emerging from another deadly heatwave, but scientists say the continent must prepare for even more frequent and intense extremes as climate change accelerates. Temperatures climbed above 40 degrees Celsius across parts of Spain, France, and Italy in late June, disrupting transport networks, straining electricity supplies, forcing nuclear reactors offline, and fueling destructive wildfires. Rail services were disrupted, power supplies strained, wildfires tore through land and claimed dozens of lives. In France, 3 nuclear reactors shut down because the rivers used to cool them had become too warm. At least 3,700 excess deaths were recorded across France, Belgium, and the Netherlands during June alone. Germany's toll, as reported this week, has now surpassed 5,000 for the year. Reports and research say over 2,700 people have died in the UK. Scientists say these events are no longer exceptional. Europe has already warmed by approximately 2.4 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times, compared with around 1.4 degrees globally, making it the fastest warming continent on Earth. Cities across Europe are now accelerating efforts to adapt, following lessons from the catastrophic 2003 heatwave, which claimed around 70,000 lives. Governments have introduced early warning systems, emergency response plans, and public cooling programs designed to protect vulnerable populations during periods of extreme heat.
Europe has initiated substantial adaptation efforts to heat waves over recent years. Think of heat plans in cities, early warnings, and cancellation of sports events.
Many of Europe's largest cities are reshaping urban planning to cope with rising temperatures. Paris has expanded its climate adaptation strategy by increasing vegetation and creating hundreds of oasis cooling locations across the city. Authorities are also mapping public drinking fountains, expanding shaded public spaces and creating so-called cool islands to reduce heat stress in densely populated neighborhoods. Demand for air conditioning is rising rapidly, but many climate experts warn that widespread adoption could unintentionally make cities even hotter by releasing additional heat into already overheated urban environments.
If you buy an air conditioner and you're able to cool off your house, you're creating more heat that's going into the city. The result will be more hot nights, making cooling off even harder for those who don't have it. Vulnerable people are even more at risk because of all the air conditioners.
Researchers also warn that extreme heat is widening existing inequalities. Older people remain especially vulnerable because aging reduces the body's ability to regulate temperature, while millions of outdoor workers across agriculture, construction, and delivery services face increasing health risks during prolonged heat waves. Some southern European countries are beginning to adjust working hours to avoid the hottest parts of the day, but researchers say such changes remain difficult because of commercial pressures and supply chain demands. Despite these investments, scientists caution that adaptation alone cannot eliminate the growing risks posed by rising temperatures.
There are limits to adaptation. We are not going to adapt to everything. And if we want it, it's going to be very costly. If you realize that we're already reaching the limit of what we can handle, there are conditions that we won't be able to handle.
The warning comes as new assessments from the UK's Met Office also conclude that the climate of the 20th century has effectively disappeared, with weather once considered extreme becoming increasingly routine across much of Europe. From expanding cooling centres and redesigning cities to protecting ageing populations and strengthening critical infrastructure, governments are preparing for a hotter future. The dead from this summer's heatwave are still being counted. The next heatwave is already forming.
Per questo dalla parte abbiamo We are here in Rome during this heat wave to show the impact of climate change on common people, in particular on workers. The fossil fuel industries during the year have a historical responsibility on the climate change. We request to tax the fossil fuel industries and to use this money to produce some activity of mitigation, adaptation, and this money to start the change in world. We are very worried because we need to a very fast transition. We need to reduce the use of fossil fuel in a very short time, but all the politicians try to anticipate the phase out. And our request is to cut all the new extraction and production of fossil fuel, because the main responsibility on the climate change is accountability of the fossil fuel industries.
Su quel bottone sopra